everyone. I've got a new story for you today, and it's called Baby's First Bank Heist, and it's a great story. You remember when we read Nobody Hugs a Cactus and how Hank went through some changes? First he was angry, and then he was sad, and then he was happy in the end. And the whole story was about Hank going through those kinds of changes. Where there's another way that some stories are told. Some stories are told by talking about a problem and then talking about a solution. This is one of those stories. Baby Frank has a problem, and he comes up with some pretty creative solutions. As you listen to the story, I'm going to read the story. As you listen to the story, see if you can figure out what some of the problems are and what some of the solutions are. I hope you enjoy the story.
Baby's First Bank Heist by Jim Wally, illustrated by Stephen Collins. Baby Frank loved animals, and yet he could not get his mom and dad to understand how much he'd like a pet. It didn't matter what it was, a dog, a cat, or rabbit. If Frank saw fur while out on walks, he'd lunge and try to grab it. And though each night at story time, young Frank would always choose books involving birds and beasts, from ducks to kangaroos, his parents would not change their minds. His mom said, "You're not ready." "And they cost too much," said Dad. "Be happy with your teddy." Frank tried to think of all the ways a pet could be obtained. He was sure that he could steal one, but the problem still remained of how he was supposed to find the money he would need to buy his newfound furry friend its bedding, bowl, and feed. Out shopping with his mom one day, the answer came to Frank. "There really is no other choice. I'll have to rob a bank." With Mom stuck waiting in a line, he knew the time was right. So Frank put on a bandit mask and disappeared from sight. Past every camera, gate, and guard, the baby crawled unseen. There were no bars or laser beams he couldn't fit between. Quick as a flash, he found the vault and scooped up all the loot. He swiftly stuffed the bills and coins inside his onesie suit. Then back to Mom he scampered and sat down without a fuss. Nobody tried to stop him as he went home on the bus. Late that night, Frank crept downstairs and turned on the computer. He started searching animals to check which ones were cuter. He knew he wanted something small, but not a boring mouse. And so it was that Frank received a meerkat at his house. He snuck his pet up to his room and kept it out of sight, and practiced looking after her to show he'd do it right. The meerkat was a great success, and little Frank adored it. But pretty soon he wanted more. Why not? He could afford it. First a dog, and then a pig, 2 aardvarks, and a cat were smuggled up into his room. He should have stopped at that. There were leopards in his cupboards and a beaver in the bath, and Frank was really struggling to hide his new giraffe. It all went wrong one afternoon when Mom called out and said, "Don't be alarmed, but I just found a rhino in our shed." It took her some detective work to find out Frank's deceit. Stack of bills, a bandit mask, and piles of named receipts. Mom showed her clues to Dad and said it was her firm belief. "Our baby wanted pets so much, he's turned into a thief." Once Frank could see how sad they were, he quickly understood. that stealing things was very wrong. From now on, he'd be good. Frank's parents took him to the bank and told them of the theft. The bank asked for their money, but there wasn't any left. The family went home to their pets and wondered what to do, until at last Dad had a thought.
Let's open up a zoo.
By selling tickets at the door, they soon began to save. Frank tried his best to lend a hand and show he could behave. He served his time without a doubt, and though still on all fours, it didn't stop him cleaning up and even leading tours. At night, he'd lie down with his pets and gaze up at the stars. Baby Frank had got his way. He was happy behind bars.
Did you enjoy the story? It is a lot of fun. So what were some of the problems in this story? What were some of the solutions? Baby Frank wanted a pet, and he didn't have the money to feed the pet. So he came up with a solution. He robbed a bank. Not all solutions are the best solutions, because that created another problem. He didn't have the money to pay the bank back. But then there was another solution. Let's open a zoo. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and take care. I hope to see you soon.